World War II, the deadliest conflict in human history. Over 70 million people dead, entire cities erased, and a war that reshaped the modern world forever. But here's the thing, people often explain WWII in a very simple way. Bad guy invades Europe, everyone fights, the good guys win. But the reality is far more complex, darker, and much more human. This is World War II, explained simply, but properly. To understand WWII, we need to go back to the end of World War I. When the war ended in 1918, Germany lost, and the winners, especially France, United Kingdom, and the United States, imposed a brutal peace treaty, the Treaty of Versailles. This treaty forced Germany to accept full blame for the war, took away its territory, limited its military, and demanded massive reparations payments. This created three explosive consequences. 1. Economic collapse. Germany's economy collapsed into hyperinflation in the 1920s. 2. National humiliation. Germans felt betrayed, humiliated, and angry. 3. Political extremism. This opened the door for radical leaders, including a man named Adolf Hitler. In 1933, Hitler became Chancellor of Germany. He promised three things: restore Germany's pride, fix the economy, undo the Treaty of Versailles. And people believed him. But Hitler's ideology went much further. He believed in racial superiority. He wanted to expand Germany's territory, and he blamed Jews and minorities for Germany's problems. This ideology became Nazism. Germany rapidly rebuilt its military, occupied nearby territories, ignored international law, and the world did almost nothing. This policy is known as appeasement, led mainly by Neville Chamberlain in Britain. Everything changed in 1939. Germany invaded Poland. 2 days later, Britain and France declared war on Germany. World War II had begun, but here's where it gets even more complex. Germany wasn't alone. It formed the Axis powers, Italy under Benito Mussolini, and Japan, an expanding imperial power in Asia. Opposing them were the Allied powers, Britain, France, later the Soviet Union, and eventually the United States. Germany introduced a terrifying new strategy: Blitzkrieg, lightning war. It combined fast tanks, aircraft bombing, and rapid infantry movement. In months, Germany conquered Poland, Denmark, Norway, Belgium, the Netherlands, and then France. In 1940, France fell. Britain stood alone. Hitler tried to invade Britain, but first he needed to destroy the Royal Air Force. This led to the Battle of Britain. For months, German planes bombed British cities in the Blitz, but Britain resisted. This was Hitler's first major defeat. In 1941, Hitler made a catastrophic decision. He invaded the Soviet Union. This operation, Operation Barbarossa, opened the Eastern Front, the deadliest theatre of the war. Initially, Germany advanced quickly. But then, winter hit, supply lines collapsed, and Soviet resistance hardened. The war became a brutal war of attrition. Meanwhile, in the Pacific, Japan attacked Pearl Harbor in December 1941. The target? The U.S. Pacific Fleet. This attack killed over 2,400 Americans, and the next day, the United States declared war. Now the war became truly global. World War II wasn't just a military war, it was total war. Entire economies mobilized, civilians targeted, entire populations displaced, and most horrifying of all, the Holocaust. Under Hitler's regime, 6 million Jews were systematically murdered. Along with Romani people, disabled individuals, political opponents, and LGBTQ individuals. This was industrialized genocide on a scale never seen before. Between 1942 and 1943, the war began to turn. Battle of Stalingrad. The Soviet Union defeats Germany in a brutal winter battle. Battle of Midway. The US destroys much of Japan's navy. El Alamein. Britain defeats German forces in North Africa. From this point on, the Axis powers were slowly pushed back. In June 1944, Allied forces launched D-Day, the invasion of Normandy. Thousands of soldiers stormed the beaches of France. It was one of the largest military operations in history. From there, the Allies pushed into Germany. Meanwhile, the Soviets advanced from the east. Germany was trapped. In April 1945, Hitler took his own life, and shortly after, Germany surrendered. The war in Europe was over. But the war wasn't over yet. Japan continued fighting. The United States then made a controversial decision. They dropped atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. These weapons killed over 200,000 people. Japan surrendered soon after. World War II had finally ended. The consequences of WWII still shape our world today. The rise of the United States and the Soviet Union as superpowers, the beginning of the Cold War, the creation of the United Nations, the division of Germany, the decolonization of much of Africa and Asia, and the global commitment, never again. World War II wasn't just a war of nations. It was a war of ideologies, economies, technology, and human values. It showed the absolute worst humanity is capable of, but also the resilience, courage, and sacrifice of millions of ordinary people. And maybe the most important lesson is this: history is never simple. And when we oversimplify it, we risk forgetting the warning signs.